on sale, $50.
Yeah.
Howdy, y'all. Did you call in this towel?
Yes,
Yes,
we did.
darling.
Yes, we did.
Okay, perfect. I'll get this done for you right away.
$50,
Thank you.
What do I look like?
That you're gonna buy me a waffle maker.
In the glovey.
Yippee!
You can have your chicken and waffles.
Yummy.
And what is it? What's the sauce?
Syrup.
Syrup. Honey, is that? What's the difference between honey and syrup?
Honey and syrup. Well, honey's honey, and maple syrup is maple syrup made
Where
from
does
maple
syrup
trees.
come from? Does
Maple
that come
trees.
from bees?
No, honey comes from bees.
How did Canadians make syrup then?
They
That
didn't
comes
make it. They
from,
just
like,
get it from maple trees.
Yeah, like sap
Yeah,
from
like
trees.
Sap from trees.
And apparently it takes like I don't know 20 gallons of the shit that comes out of the tree to like reduce down into maple syrup. Like for 1 gallon, like 20 gallons turns into 1 gallon of maple syrup.
That's kind of crazy, no?
Yeah.
That must be
Hold on, maple syrup's fucking expensive though.
I don't think I've ever bought
Hello.
it.
Hello, Mr. Rhodes. It's Rupert. How are you?
I'm good.
Are
How
we
are you?
escorting it?
It's stunning, thank you. I was wondering if you could help me with something. I've received my first FOIA, and I'm responding to it. Do I just text him the link to the document?
Give me 1 second. I will reference you to what you need to look at. Uno momento. I just want to move out of an area because the individuals involved in the situation we were dealing with were quite upset, and I don't want to stay in the area and have them like do something. Yeah, pretty much. However, let's see. To find something super quick, so I won't be talking, but I will.
I'm fixing my car, so you're all good.
All right, Rupert, do you have the SOPs? Oh, what the hell? All right, do you have the link to the SOPs?
Somewhere, yeah, it's in my emails. Bear with me a moment.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. The reason I want to make sure you get this here is to make sure that if it does pop up again, you can reference it. I just want to make sure nothing has changed in legislation that would make this outdated. Yep, nope, should be good. But essentially, have you ever exported a report?
Yeah, I have done. It was an accident, but I therefore know how to do it.
It's fine. It's fine. So are they doing it on behalf of somebody involved in a situation specifically?
Correct. Yeah, yeah, correct.
So what you want to do? What's the report number?
14009, referencing Mr. Lucky Torkel, and the individual requesting is Paul Hammerstein.
Got it. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go to that incident. You want to so do you see the blue button of the 3 buttons where you can edit charges, save, or export? Blue
Yeah,
one
I've
is
got
export.
the link. I've got the export. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to send that via text. You do not share the report with the individual's state ID. Other individuals have done that before. That is not the appropriate means of doing it. And you would only, so you probably wouldn't do that right now if this is a situation that happened yesterday, because officers do have some time to submit their statements. And you have up to 72 hours to send it. So you want to make sure that the report is sort of concluded in its entirety, whether that's the documentation of stuff, statements from officers, Once everything is done, and obviously before the 72 hours, you submit it. If it's approaching the 72-hour deadline, we
Where I'm
can't really
looking at
extend it.
Where I'm looking at Mr. Torkel's charges, right? So his charges are gang-related shooting, in that he and members of the besties had a shootout with members of the manor. We got 11 downed individuals and one up. So it was literally the manor versus the besties, right? And we did him so gang-related, Oxy because he had Oxy on him.
Right.
Class 2 firearm, get a class 2 firearm on him, and then security firm equipment because his car had a group 6 chip in. It's his car and it was on scene.
That all sounds valid.
And then his car got VAFed because it was on scene at a gang-related shooting.
So the tricky part is that even though Lucky, like his stuff is clear cut, and most of these things are going to be clear cut, especially if it's primarily gang related in possessions. The issue you run into of like, yes, everything in the report technically satisfies like this specific person's charges, they might be FOIAing on the basis of just getting the contents of the report to see whether or not it, something isn't included. Like, let's say the person who processed Daniel Cole, for example, hasn't put in their statement, or there isn't a statement indicating Daniel Cole's involvement. They're going to look at Lucky Torkel's FOIA, because the attorney who's going to represent one person as part of a gang is going to likely represent everybody else as part of that same gang. They're going to be like, oh, well, they didn't
someone
see.
who's open and shut,
Pretty much.
And they'll use that as a way to get the trick me into sending him
Not
the report.
necessarily tricking you, but if you sort of look at the situation as a, pretty much what they would do is take this, again, satisfy the requirements for Lucky, everything's fine, all is good, you send it off, and then let's say in 3 hours when an officer, let's say Carmine was responsible for processing Daniel, he hasn't put his statement in yet. I mean, realistically he should have, but we have some time to put in statements. You submit this, the lawyer goes, all right, well, I don't see any statement involving this person, and then they end up FOIAing stuff for Daniel, and then they get a different variant of the same report under a FOIA and start claiming, well, that wasn't there before, and you guys have X amount of days to have this information in there. They would end up looking very bad. So realistically, you just want to ensure that I personally would never send a FOIA within a 24-hour period, considering the time that officers have to write statements. Let me get you the deadlines here. So according to SOPs, incidents where suspects pled guilty need to be as soon as possible within 48 hours. Incidents where they pled not guilty, also as soon as possible within 48 hours. And then so pretty much you don't ever want to release an incident unless it is completed in its entirety under 48 hours, because officers involved have up to 48 to submit those things.
They made a left. They're going in the alleyway.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Because if we're telling officers you have 48 hours and then a FOIA goes out within 24 hours and it's not completed, that would end up getting a bit tricky.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I will.
No, you're good. Just set an alarm
because
for
I
yourself.
wasn't the primary on scene, right? I wasn't the primary. I'd speak to Captain Maxwell, I guess, because it's her scene, and try and
alleyway, parallel to Olympic Freeway.
No, you're good.
I'll get to it. Thank you, Mr. Rhodes. I appreciate your help as always.
Speak with Maxwell. If Maxwell was primary, speak to her. Let her know that the report did get FOIA'd. And you are just trying to ensure that all officers have their statements within a reasonable amount of time so you can fulfill the FOIA within the time allotted. And to clarify, you would export, you get the link, and you would then text that to, there should be a phone number in the FOIA request. You text it to that phone number. And that's your documentation. And you just have to ensure that is done before 72 hours.
Right. Okay. I will make sure.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. That this situation has kind of put you in a relatively short deadline, because 48 hours for officers to put in stuff, but 72 hours to submit. So it's it's a bit shitty that you got put into that position. It's not very often FOIAs come in so shortly after a situation has occurred.
I look at the situation. I think to myself, like,
What is he trying to appeal? Oftentimes,
open
if
and
there's
shut.
VAFs, most times they're just trying to look for incomplete submission of evidence for the involvement of a VAF. Whether it's, for example, signs of tampering, or the lack of signs of tampering. If that's not in there, a vehicle's not going to be VAF'd. Straight up, it's just not. Because one of the requirements is proving that there were no signs of tampering, on that vehicle. I'm not going to lie. Lucky's not one to appeal charges. If I had to assume, it's purely on the basis of the VAF.
It's going to be the VAF, yeah.
Yeah.
But sucks to be him because I've got these signs of tampering.
Yep. It's the signs of tampering plus all the evidence and whatnot, which is why it's important because, I mean, for context, I had a situation with Vivian Gray the other day where we VAF'd 4 cars. The following day, I looked at the report to make sure all of the evidence was in there to support all 4 vehicles being VAF'd. One of them wasn't put in the actual report, and one of them, that same vehicle didn't have the photos added. But realistically, again, we have 48 hours to submit these things. So Viv was going to do it that morning, but I was just checking in with her to be like, do you have these things? Because I just want to make sure, we have everything. Because I was primary, and I just wanted to not I wanted to ensure things didn't fall through the cracks, is a long story short. But again, because they have the 48 hours to submit it, it's a bit tricky.
It's kind of annoying because it means that, if that makes sense, is that I've got 72 hours to do it, but I've got to try and hunt everyone down, if that makes sense.
Correct. But do you understand that if somebody did not do their shit within 48 hours, that doesn't fall on you?
Right, okay.
That falls on whoever failed to do their paperwork. And obviously at that point, seniors and above should ideally be looking at the situation, identifying people who didn't do their job in these situations, and likely get spoken to.
Yapping the piss out of them.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to result in a DAP. If this is someone who otherwise always does their work, like looking back at other reports, it could just be a conversation of like, hey, you messed up here, and it did result in a person's vehicle getting unvaffed or whatever the situation is. Will it likely result in DAPs? Probably, but it doesn't always have to if it's like a first-time situation.
What you're telling me is that the depends on the department, the officer, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Rarely will someone ever get dapped on their first instance of something occurring. It sort of has to be like we already told you, that's kind of your slap on the wrist. And then from there forward, if you continue doing that same thing, then don't be surprised if you do get dapped.
It makes sense.
But yeah, any additional questions?
No, that's it. I'm going to go through and tidy up the report as I can see little changes so that it's easier to read. And then I'll then speak to Captain Maxwell and let her know it's been foiled.
Yep. That works.
All right, then. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.
Hale? I'm sorry, huh? It's wet. Ugh. I'm not gonna lie, that
behind the impound lot. We're coming out on Alta. And they're parallel to...
He's kind of getting shafted on such a quick FOIA turnaround.
They are heading northbound Power, continuing northbound Power.
Alright, regain visual. Crossing over Vespucci, northbound Upper Power Street.
FOIA.
Crossing over Occupation, slowing down, left westbound Howard. Approaching Las Lagunas, continuing westbound Howard. Slowing left southbound San Vitus.
There's a lot that happened yesterday. Yeah, but the issue that I have is that this is something that occurred yesterday,
Southbound Las Lagunas.
right? The FOIA went in.
Entering the red garage,
What time?
UCB.
Let's see. FOIA.
They are U-turning, going to be exiting Red Garage north on San
The
Andreas,
FOIA went in yesterday
right
at
eastbound
10
San Andreas,
p.m.
left
This
northbound
happened
San
at
Pedro.
so 10 hours after the situation occurred.
Left.
FOIA went
westbound
in,
Dorset,
which
passing
means
Mount
there's
Jonah
38
Medical now.
hours of report writing.
Vehicle slowing down, left southbound Palomino.
So, what's math?
Right, westbound Del Perro Freeway on the on-ramp.
There's 72 hours allowed from the time.
You're
10
going through the tunnel.
hours.
We're gonna push through VCB.
I mean,
Continuing west through
just
the
take
tunnel.
out.
We're going to be exiting the. Oh, correction. Oh no, we are continuing west.
There only exists a 24-hour period
In the tunnel now. We're westbound Del Perro.
for that to be
Heroin above.
fulfilled, which gets cut down just because officers
Vehicle
have
is
the
continuing
48 hours to
northbound,
submit
Del
stuff.
Perro Freeway, slowing down.
I don't
Making
like
Bay
that.
Incline south. Approaching Bay City Avenue, southbound.
Let's see how it's written in actual legislation. Right to information that is necessary for the well-being. It's our belief that okay.
Disregard evicted. He just crossed Red Desert.
Requests for
approaching San
production reports
Andreas,
must be submitted in
passing Mason.
person or by formal written communication.
Left,
Member
eastbound,
PD dispatch
San
reception
Andreas.
or an on-duty law enforcement officer. It's clearly state or clearly describe the records being sought. Be as specific as possible to help expedite the search
Just
process.
past, Rockford, continuing eastbound San Andreas. Slowing down on Palomino.
Standard
left
review
northbound
period.
Palomino.
I mean, are there any warrants as part of this
It's at 30%
situation?
Fuel, maybe lower.
Process,
Currently eastbound Dorset. We just passed Manzona Medical, approaching Las Lagunas. They're gonna go off-road, I think, towards the park. Yeah, they're in the park that leads to Alta Street off-road. Out on Alta, they're gonna do the jump on Del Perro Freeway. Del Perro.
Oh!
Launch.
Full sending eastbound Del Perro.
Yeah, they are.
Tracker's off.
They are stepping on the gas and taking the off-ramp for San Andreas. Left
Report
northbound
subject to
North Park
FOIA. The
Boulevard.
maximum response time allocated will be
Gonna have
3
to go
days
refill
from
soon. They
the
made a left on
point of
West Fair
request.
Drive.
Reports that are
They
complete and able to be
stopping,
distributed via
stand
FOIA
by,
upon request will be
swapping.
delivered as soon as possible.
They're repairing the vehicle, actually.
Reporting
Let's
officer
get on them,
approval
shall we?
/ sign off.
There was a
records
class
be
2
delivered
in it.
via formal written documentation.
If class 2's confirmed, you guys are clear to use them.
Getting back in the vehicle. Oh, stand
Nice
by.
tase.
You got tased. Wait, watch out.
Huh.
He's resisting again, getting inside that vehicle. Suspects are fleeing on West.
I do think there needs to be an adjustment for the original
the vehicle
48
is
hours. So 48
Yeah.
hours
You
or
guys are clear for PBS if the track
reports
goes
that are
off.
completed in their entirety before that time period.
Stopping right in front
Especially
of
in
the house,
large-scale
driver getting
situations.
out. Okay, back in.
Just let them know.
Everyone's gonna have to
This is
break up
third.
for fuel now.
What?
You guys alone on this.
Here comes, guys. Everyone's breaking.
Vehicle.
Vehicle's going to be continuing West Bridge Street.
211's doubled
We are-
westbound Bridge
oh,
Street
10-4.
approaching Elgin, right northbound Elgin. Left westbound
Harry
Vinewood.
Langston
Please.
on the Creeker.
Westbound
Fulton,
Vinewood Boulevard. Speeding up. Continuing sending it
Lucky
westbound.
Torkel, Sultan.
Over Alta, westbound.
Maybe that's why
Vinewood
an
Boulevard,
an
over
expensive
Las
car?
Lagunas.
Take
Breaking
48
the left
hours to produce
southbound
the
Stand by for
FOIA in the
report
future.
marker.
So here's the thing. There
Purchase
exists a time period.
Breaking right
Unfortunately, I think it's just too short. There exists a time period where this can happen.
Rawson, San Vitus, continuing westbound Spanish.
It's just a 24-hour period, right? Like,
Over
situation
Milton,
happened,
for
10 hours
Queensway,
later,
westbound Spanish.
FOIA request is in,
Any additional 77
but there's still
that can join
38
us?
hours remaining of
Polito,
report
right
writing
northbound.
time and submission of
Sorry,
evidence.
Madway.
Internally within the police department,
Just
officers have 48 hours to
Left
submit this
northbound
stuff,
West Clip.
which means there's only 24 hours after that 48-hour period
Continuing
for
west Eclipse,
the FOIA
westbound
to be
West Eclipse,
fulfilled.
Right, northbound immediate.
And that's
left,
tricky.
Westbound Picture Perfect.
Especially when there's
Right, westbound
how many
Richmond
people?
Street
1,
just
2,
behind
3,
the,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Austin,
10, 11,
St.
12
Mary's
people that got
College,
arrested? I haven't seen Peter Johnson in fucking ages. Holy fuck.
Sorry, touching.
Right, northbound, North Rockford.
We got in Paleto Bank. Should we break up from this for that?
If you guys we should have enough units.
If you guys want to continue that spruce, I'll just go grab the house from Paleto. You guys are good.
All right, copy that.
You turning southbound, North Rockford.
Did Lucky plead guilty?
Breaking right, they're getting dropped off.
He's not appealing charges. It's solely for the VAFs.
To Miguel Almirano ending in LKM.
En route. What's your 20?
Drivers radioing now northbound North Rockford. We're just currently stationary on the intersection of Ace. I don't know, in North Rockford.
Oh wait, were they notified?
I know you guys only have like 3 ground units, but could you get another channel? So I don't think anybody else is able to help you guys regardless.
In 41, I'll attach to.
Hey, Firm, I'll find a channel.
You guys need Air 1?
They got it, but we can take Air 1 for Paleto, but we probably need ground units for that though.
Channel 2 is clear.
Before I transition, I would like to say, ow.
We're gonna call Rupert. Actually, no, we're not. Not yet. James Graves.
Have enough units for Paleto?
Hello.
Hey, it's Rhodes. Question.
Yeah.
So just to verify, Lucky pled guilty, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the point of contention for Lucky is 1,000% going to be that VAF. So, I mean, though the report should be completed in its entirety, you want to just ensure that every aspect of the VAF stuff has been fulfilled.
Yeah, it's in full. All right, I'll triple check that. But like I say, I can see in the evidence there, because I submitted the one with his plate and lack of tempering, and then there's 2 sets of photos of his trunk, 2 sets of photos of his glove box, and 2 sets of photos of the car on scene at the shooting, plus my statement, which states that we pursued the car and it ended up at the shooting.
Did you notify him of the VAF as well?
Yes, I did it in the sales. Yeah.
Okay.
Should I put that in my statement?
1,000% you need to include that in your statement, because they may hit on the aspect of he didn't get notified of the VAF, so you just want to make sure that that's hit on as well.
Lovely. I will make sure I do that.
Perfect. I just wanted to clear that up because I was looking, I saw he pled guilty, and I was like, so it's not like he can appeal the charges, so it's definitely the VAF.
Either that or because there was another. I'm looking through it. There was a chap who pled not guilty to a bunch of hot gun charges, and I believe he's in the same gang as Mr. Torkel. And so I was thinking then perhaps the lawyer was doing it, underhandedly.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. The thing is, he would have to FOIA the additional. It's Peter Johnson, right? It's the only person
correct.
who's not listed as pled guilty. Peter Johnson is someone who I haven't seen in a very long time, but he did affiliate with Besties. Regardless, they would have to, if they were looking for information regarding the hot gun stuff, they would definitely have to push FOIAs for the additional stuff.
Every single report, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's purely the VAF because it's an expensive car and he doesn't want to lose it. And I think it's its second VAF. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I think I could be wrong.
It is. It's only got 1 VAF.
Okay.
From that incident. And as long as they were notified, then you guys are good. Obviously, in addition to everything, but yeah, a million % with in your statement putting that you notified them, and that's all you'll need.
I mean, I know when I'm VAFing something, even if I verbally notify them, I also send them the contract because that way, like do you know what I mean?
I do the contract because it's the easiest paper trail that cannot be disputed. I've said this a million times.
That makes so much sense.
If you request somebody's signature, that means it was shared with them because you cannot request the signature of someone. And always make sure you request your signature and you sign it so that the timestamp of your signature comes up. Because if the person doesn't sign it, a timestamp does not come up. So you request yours, you request theirs, you sign, and then it doesn't matter if they fucking sign as long as you have a paper trail, you're good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, brilliant. All right, lovely.
Have a good one.
I'm going to sit and go through this report, finish it up, and I'll speak to Maxwell.
Sounds good. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Raids. I appreciate your help.
Do y'all need 77s at Polito?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
390 en route.
Are you pulling me over?
No, we are not. Shit, we didn't ask Denzel if he got anything good in his vault. Fuck. I meant to ask, and I forgot. It's raining up by Polito.
I know, man. It just cleared up the city, too. I got sad.
Right, they're going to be about a minute, not even that inside Polino. They want the usual. Are we just...
Yeah, we are.
We'll stay with the hostage, obviously, because we're not going to be able to do shit in this CBTI.
Aren't you trying?
Or we're just staying with the hostage.
390 has about 20% fuel. I'm gonna try to quickly refuel. Do we have anyone who's able to pursue before I can attach? Because if not, I'll immediately attach to the pursuit and then pull off when I can. You're not wrong. I actually hate how frequently it rains, especially in Polito. For the longest time, Polito was raining 24/7. Oh, wait. This refuel actually took quicker than expected. 390's refueled in Polito. I'm en route. $390, 23 liter.
Guys, they're ready to go.
Copy that.
They're coming out, mount up, they're coming out, they're forcing their way out.
No, within force. Go.
Active 80 with that blue Buffalo, westbound Pluto Boulevard, left, merging southbound Pirate Ave, left eastbound Great Ocean Highway. Full sending southbound towards North Freeway, speeds 180. Full sending southbound. Approaching Little S Bend. Continuing southbound through the tunnel towards Grapeseed. So status check on the Coquette.
Okay.
Yup.
Confirm they're continuing southbound, passing the Grapeseed turnoff. Hard on the brakes, left, eastbound. Merging down towards like the lighthouse turnoff. Taking the off-road path off of Union. They're continuing southbound on Union Road. If y'all stay on the freeway, they're likely gonna take the Southern Union turnoff. Currently VCB, stand by. Oh, they pulled off-road off of Union under the train tracks. They're stuck in a rear-wheel drive car with very little traction on the back. Actually Beybladed out. Merging southbound back onto Union. The lights are out. Continuing westbound Union, crossing the freeway and onto East Joshua Road. Passing the Grapeseed turnoff, full sending westbound on East Joshua, passing the tolls. Braking at the Panorama turnoff, left southbound Panorama. Ooh, hard braking, right westbound, off-road by the Yellow Jack. Right westbound Route 68 towards Harmony. Continuing westbound Route 68, passing Harmony now. Passing the Animal Arc, full sending westbound, speeds 190. Passing the Sonora Road turnoff. Oh, I 50'd, I'm smoking. Continuing westbound Route 68.
Additional?
Left southbound, Dakota Grand Valley. Continuing southbound Zancudo Grand Valley. Still continuing southbound Zancudo Grand Valley. The off-road path merging southwest, still Zancudo Grand Valley.
Best except for you, Carmine's likely Milton.
Continuing southbound, merging Mount Vinewood Drive. Sending southbound, Mount Vinewood Drive, they 50'd. Vehicles facing north, and they're U-turning south. Taking right at the split, merging southbound North Sheldon Ave. So continuing southwest on North Sheldon. Left southbound Hangman Ave. Merging west. And right westbound Ace Jones. Left southbound taking that one property off-road and then down towards Hardy Way. Right westbound West Cliffs Boulevard. Right westbound staying on West Eclipse. And continuing towards the cemetery. Left southbound Prosperity. Left eastbound Marathon. Right southbound through the alley that runs parallel to North Rockford. Left eastbound towards North Rockford. Right southbound North Rockford, merging South Rockford. Left eastbound Vespucci. That's in the white garage, so full sending eastbound. Braking right southbound Alta. Left eastbound Adams Apple. Right southbound Power. Right westbound through the alley that runs parallel to the OG Benny's Alley. Left and immediate left eastbound back towards Power. Right southbound Power. Left eastbound through the next alley running parallel to Innocence. Continuing east towards Elgin. Right and immediate left eastbound Innocence. I think they turned southbound Alta, or Strawberry, sorry, VCB. Eastbound doing the Southside Special, exiting McDonald. And passing City Hall now. Full sending eastbound, crossing Jamestown. Right southbound Little Bighorn. Left eastbound Carson, passing the barrio. Right southbound through an alleyway into the barrio. Right westbound towards Jamestown Street. Left westbound through the alley, exiting towards the Roylo. Left southbound towards Dutch London. Right westbound Dutch London. Right northbound Roylo, upper lanes. Sending northbound Roylo, hard braking, left westbound Innocence Boulevard. Right northbound Roylo, opposing lanes. Left westbound through the ADMC alleys. Right and immediate left, westbound Capitol. Continuing westbound through the alleyways across from the Strawberry gas station. Pushing all the way west, and then westbound onto Olympic Freeway, opposing lanes. Sticking left at this split, left again down towards Innocence Boulevard. Taking the squeeze down into the canals. And left eastbound, taking the Alta squeeze. Stand by. Oop. I flipped. They're continuing eastbound through the Form alleys. BVCB here. I'm VCB. Maybe eastbound northbound Davis. All the way towards Little Bighorn. I'm VCB. They were approaching the hospital when I caught them. I'm gonna push east onto Roylo in case they circle back this way. RO, the vehicle is James Malding. I'm gonna continue east to Little Bighorn in Jamestown and see if they circle south, considering we're dealing with Manor. Hey, Carmine, you on frequency, bud?
252 is on frequency.
Oh, A-firm. What happened? Where were you?
I pulled out my vehicle and it was kaput. It needed a repairs. It was like rattling.
Typical.
Are we UTL? Sorry.
VCB. Vehicle was last seen northbound Davis, approaching Little Bighorn.
Yeah.
I will throw a report up for this if you can get your statements in, because I'll put a warrant out for Terry as he's in there, unmasked, and have a picture of him inside.
Hey, firm.
Okay, why I keep getting that slow system performance message.
All right, are we just calling it UTL then?
Yeah, we can call it UTL.
All right, copy that. I'll make sure to get the statements in. Thank you for the backup. Thank you for trying.
Poor man.
$390, 10-8. Curious to know if there's any performance increase if I do this. Wait. Hold on, let me undo that. That's current. Click. No. I don't think it matters. There's no aspect of anything being slow though. That's that's why it was confusing. Mm-hmm.
797, there was a black and color four-door vehicle occupied 3 times. Has individual has a class 2 threatened to kill me at a 32.
What?
Where?
I'm VCB right now.
Sounds like Miguel Mirion. They were right outside of Weasel News.
I have the plate flagged.
What's the vehicle description one more time?
The black and color 4-door with the, I think it's like a interior roll cage in the back.
Yeah, that's probably his car he was just using in the message.
Registered owner is Future Hendricks. The vehicle is holding 1 class 2, so just be on the lookout.
Let's find out where Carmine is. Huh?
Come out. You know what the Loso Palomino apartments are? Come right down there. I got a car for you. This thing still a rocket ship?
Yeah.
So it's not the car. It's the man behind the wheel, huh?
But what do
You
you
can polish shit. It's still gonna be shit. You get what I'm saying, Roach?
Yeah,
All
yeah, Carmine.
roads
Why don't
lead
we?
to
Why
Shit
don't?
Creek.
Why don't we compare our
What?
you know, internal
What?
punishments in the police department?
What are you trying to say? Huh? What you
How
trying to
many
say,
times have you
Roach?
been dapped?
Every challenge that is worth taking is challenging. Okay, every task that is worth doing is tasking, as the saying goes.
Is
okay?
this where you try to justify polishing a turd to
what
becoming
I'm
something more useful?
No, Roach. What I'm trying to say is
I find it so ironic, Carmine.